Welcome back to Sleeper Barbecue. My name is Lance. Today we're not going to be cooking, we're going to be doing a review. We have a couple new items in from the manufacturer Vevor, V-E-V-O-R, that's how I pronounce it. And the first one we're going to do review is going to be for their 24-inch tabletop griddle. Let me get set up and we'll get that review started here. Somewhere in the description of Vevor's website, it actually calls it a commercial tabletop griddle. And I believe it after listening to these igniters. The igniters, built-in igniters for this thing are just massive if you look at them. And I'm assuming that all this is because of, in a commercial application, this griddle could be turned off and on, a number of times during the day. But listen to these igniters. I mean, they're just crazy heavy duty, but I'm not complaining. This is a model G2327. I think it's actually considered a 24-inch griddle, but the actual measurements are 22.5 by 16.5 front to back. Tabletop version, 3mm thick, cold hot rolled steel griddle top. I can't wait to get to using this thing. We're not going to cook on it today, but we will season it later on in this, within this video. But it's rainy outside, and I just want to get this review behind me. Just get a little bit more familiar with the griddle itself. But I mean, cooking breakfast, stir fry on top of it, whatever you want to do. I have a 36-inch griddle. But it's just the wife and I left at home. We just don't need all that surface and then having to, cook or warm or heat up that much of a surface rather. This is going to be ideal for me and my wife, so we're going to enjoy it. I know I am, but she is too, because it means she doesn't have to cook breakfast and wherever we're going to cook on to it. But it's roughly about 362 square inch cooking surface. I think it's going to be great. I know. These stainless steel H-shaped burners will evenly heat that griddle top up pretty easily, making cooking a little bit more efficient. You could still heat up one side, keep it on high, maybe keep the other side off or even low for that matter. Sort of like a keeping warm side of it. But we'll just go ahead and get these things started up, so you can actually see them, fired up and down, low temps, high temps. You have to push it in to turn it on and push it in to turn it off. Pretty nice. The other thing I want you to take notice of is the cross bracing in here to again, this sort of goes to show to what I was saying earlier as far as its construction. This cross bracing, I've got to assume, has no purpose other than just to make sure that this top doesn't warp with using it and with the possibilities of some really high temperatures. It's built like a tank. As I touched base a little bit earlier on, is that this will, as far as seasoning it, in shipping, it does come with a light coat of vegetable oil just to prevent this top from rusting before it does get seasoned. There's a number of different products that it recommends to use for seasoning, but I'm probably going to use an extra virgin olive oil because that's what I had here at home, other than just a regular vegetable oil. I do have some lard, but flaxseed oil is actually their first recommendation, but I didn't have any, and I'm not going to go out, and buy some, because I've used the virgin olive oil on other griddle tops, and they've worked just fine in the past. Alright, so let's just show you a couple more of the little details. So right here in the top, this is where you will scrape and clean your surface after you finish using it, and it goes into this all metal drip pan that pulls out. It's a little noisy right now, but it's brand new, so it pulls in and out of there. And rubbing on the sides of this just so that that doesn't possibly just fall out with, tipping it over. And as you already saw about the top being removable, that's a big plus, for a couple reasons. One, if you want to clean this after its usage, although it is my recommendation that once you have this top seasoned up well to where you're happy with it, don't go scrubbing on this top real crazy with detergents and abrasive type cleaners, because you're just defeating your purpose of making that, creating that seasoned surface. Seasoning this surface is like seasoning a skillet, a black skillet. It makes it non-stick. It's just what you want. And the other thing is that, with this top being removable like that, if you were to remove this or want to move this griddle top from your back porch to out in the yard on a picnic table, or maybe you want to take it on a camping trip with you, it weighs 28 pounds complete as it is, top and base. So to lighten the load up, take off the top, carry the top out, and then carry the base out later in 2 different pieces if you want. Let's talk about the gas. So it uses these spin-on 1-pound bottles of Coleman propane, and here you can see it actually installed. But as I was getting ready to say, I actually had this hooked up to a regular 20-pound barbecue tank, just your standard stock size tank, nothing huge, with the hose adapter kit that I have for another product that burns the same bottles of propane. It worked fine, it ignited fine. They're just saying in the instructions or the owner's manual there is that, just don't alter this in any way if you want to use that tank. It's actually suggested by Vevor to use these 1-pound bottles, but if you're going to be using a lot during the day or over a weekend, it sure would be nice to have a bigger tank, because these little bottles could get expensive. And I personally, I'm not recommending you do it, but I personally have had this hooked up to another tank. I'll actually hook it back up to the 20-pound tank when I go to season this top. Right now, to initiate the start, we're going to go ahead and get this thing fired up. You're going to hear that click. Already lit. So at this point, it's just going to let it warm up. We're going to turn it down just a little bit to like a medium to medium high. We don't need it all the way up. And then we're going to take our olive oil and just add a coat of olive oil. Unfortunately, it is still raining, so I am doing this indoors. It's not something that's recommended, but I do have a fan over there to the right of me just to keep some air circulating in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just start rubbing this oil in here. Now as this heats up, you're not going to be able to hold this paper towel by your hand. It's going to start getting warm. You can use tongs, you can use whatever you want to use, a spatula, but I'm using my tool here. So I'm just going to start rubbing this in. I just want to keep rubbing it in, trying to get it into all the corners nicely. And when this starts to burn off, you're going to get some smoke off of this. That's perfectly normal. Just keep going. Just keep letting it go, keep letting it go. And as that oil cooks off, like I say, you're going to get that smoke. And you'll probably have to do this several times, trying to get a patina to them. It's not something that's going to happen right away. Just got to keep working at it. And if you can, obviously you want to work this up on the sides. Alright, you can see it's starting to darken. See the smoke rolling off of it. I'm sorry if you hear the noise in the background, but I have a commercial exhaust system in the back. I'm trying to draw this smoke out of here. Again, I wish I could do it outside, but wanted to finish this video up, so I'm doing it inside with precautions. You can see how it's starting to get dark, and we're just going to let it go. We're going to keep on doing this. As you use it each time, it's going to get darker and darker and darker. All right, well, I think you get the idea. You can see how black it's getting. It's establishing that seasoning. And as I said before, you know, it's probably going to work its way up here a little bit, but that's where all the majority of the heat is, right here on top of the burners. So that's the areas when it gets seasoned first, because it's getting the hottest. As you use it, you know, this seasoning will work up here further where there is no heat on it right now. It's just residual heat that's working its way out this way, and you'll get a little bit of seasoning, but it'll build up. It'll get nicer and nicer. All right, there you have it. I'm not saying this is the way to do it. I am saying this is how I do it. Choose your way, read the owner's manual, season your griddle, do just a little bit of research on it, but that's how I do it. It's worked for me several times. You know, a couple other notes I would say is that when you're doing it, make sure there's nothing combustible around, anywhere around this griddle top. When I say anywhere, you know, within 6 feet of it, of the perimeter of it, if not more, just to be safe, because it's putting off a lot of heat. The other thing is that, you know, when you're using paper towels or whatever you're using to rub down that surface, when you take them off of that surface, those towels are going to be hot. So don't think about grabbing them with your hand. Don't throw them on something else that's flammable. Dispose of them properly after they've cooled off. So these are all just my suggestions. I am not telling you this is how to do it. This is how I do it, and just take it as maybe just a suggestion, and then take it from there as far as how you want to handle your own way of seasoning it. You know what? And be watching for another Vevor video review coming out here very shortly. That's for sandwich press. So that's to come out yet. Thanks again so much for watching. Please check the links. Click on the link. Check out Vevor. See what they have to offer. They have excellent prices. Unfortunately, we missed the Black Friday, but there'll be more holiday pricing yet to come. I think right now this tabletop griddle is under $100, the last I checked. But check the links, you know, for yourself, and see what the pricing is. I think you're going to love it, because I know I'm going to. I'm Lance with Sleeper Barbecue. We'll see you next time.